Welcome to the channel, friends. So today I plan on doing another quick install video on my 2018 Polaris Sportsman 1000 XP. And what I will be installing is the Polaris body armor kit. So if that's something that's going to interest you, stay tuned. Alright, so here we got one Bad Larry Polaris Sportsman. Pretty much it's hooked up from the factory with everything you need, really. Almost. So it comes with the front and rear bumper, these heavy duty bumpers, the rack extenders, and I've added my own touches here and there. You know, the Hunter model comes really fully loaded, heated grips, heated thumb, really nice seat, camo graphics. It's a really nice machine. Really nice 26-inch wheels with, I believe, 14-inch rims on these. Yes, 14-inch. And yeah, I really like this machine so far. Came with the 2,500-pound winch. I did put a synthetic rope. I also do have a 66-inch Glacier Pro plow. As you can see here, it's a quick attach system, and it has the electric hydraulic power pivot unit as well. So among other things I've done to the machine, first glance we can see that we have new hand guards. We have a snowmobile grab bar. We have a power commander, aka power box, big gun power box. And we have the big gun exhaust. Check that out. That is a big gun EXO stainless steel slip-on exhaust. And it sounds really nice. Over to the back here, we got the KFI Tiger Tail that I've modified with my own hook. I like having a hook that has an actual keeper on it. That way you can capture your load or capture that sling or loop, whatever you're using to pull on. And pretty much I have videos of all this stuff I've done, so check out my other videos. I will put it on the cards up top. So if you're interested, check those out. So pretty much the body armor kit is the last component that I haven't installed yet on this machine. And pretty much everything so far I really like. I really like how the bumpers look on the machine. Everything is really nice. I have actually a 2-inch lift kit on this, which is the High Lifter 2-inch lift kit. And you can see here the bracket in the front. Okay, and then there's also a bracket in the rear that lifts the machine. And then you also get these extended sway bar links with the kit. So pretty much I'm really happy with the clearance and everything, the way the machine performs. And if you have any questions, obviously you can put them down below about any of these components or check out my other videos. I'll be more than happy to answer questions. So one concern I have with the body armor kit is that it's going to make the machine about 2 inches wider on each side. Okay, and it's going to add some weight. It's probably going to add about 50 pounds to the machine. I could be wrong. We could check the instructions and see exactly how much it weighs, but I'm guessing it's about 40-50 pounds the most. And actually, let's go right to the workshop right now and check out all the components. Alright, so I have all the pieces for the kit laid out, and this is what it looks like. You have your main tubes, the front and then the rear. And these larger plates go underneath the footrests. And that's what the rails will mount to. Comes with all necessary hardware, and this is a shot of the actual instructions and part number that we're working with today. So the install is pretty straightforward, and according to the instructions, it should only take about a half an hour to do. So let's get started. And the first step seems like we have to install these small brackets on the frame of the ATV and then attach these larger plates using this hardware right here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and show you guys step by step what it looks like. Alright, so first thing, I went ahead with some compressed air and blew out the brackets underneath here, underneath the footrest, where these pieces here are going to slide in. There was a whole bunch of stuff in there, dirt, mud, you know, whatever, debris. So I went ahead and just shot in there with an air gun and cleaned all those up. And now it's time to install these smaller brackets right on the underside. And all you do is slide them right in. So these smaller brackets that I just installed have an orientation to them, and they're not all the same. There's actually one that's slightly different that goes on the right side. So just check with the instructions on the exploded view, and just make sure you put them in the right spot. So for the next step, it's going to be mounting this larger bracket to the bottom of the machine and attaching it to those smaller little mounts there on the frame. So you have 4 fasteners, 1/2 inch, so you will need a 1/2 inch socket, and I'll go ahead and do that. Alright, so I went ahead and loosely fitted these bottom mounts. Next step is going to grab the front rail and the rear rail and install them on the machine. I also went off camera and I loosened these bolts here on the bottom. There's a nut that you have to take off, 2 of them. And then the rear rail is just going to slide first into the bracket and then right onto the bolts here, the factory bolts. I'm just going to go ahead and put everything on loosely first, and then once everything is all in place, then I'll go ahead and cinch everything down to the proper torque specs. So the front rail is going to mount to the front bumper on this machine by 2 screws that have a locking washer and washer. You have to have the heavy-duty front bumper in order to install this body armor kit. That's one thing that you might not notice is necessary, but that's the only way to mount the front rail. You have to have this heavy-duty bumper. I'm going to go ahead and do the other side of the machine, and then I'm going to go ahead and tighten everything down to the proper torque, and then I'll show you guys a quick overview of what it looks like. Alright, so now the rails are all bolted up and torqued. I went ahead and the sequence I used to tighten these up is I did the front screws first. So those are Torx T27. Then I tightened these 2 here as well. Okay, and then I went underneath on the mount on those 4 1/2 inch bolts that go up through those small brackets on the bottom. Cinch those up nice and tight. As you do that, that'll bring this plate up into position, and then these 2 rails will want to push towards the middle, just like that, and then go ahead and tighten these 4 nuts and bolts here. Okay, so as you can tell, my attention to detail is right on par with anything else, because I even turned all the bolt heads so the flat on each head is right at 12 o'clock. So I'm going to go ahead and show you underneath what it looks like. So you don't lose any ground clearance by using this armor kit at all, because what happens is this plate attaches to the bottom of the footrest, and the footrest is actually swept up. So I don't know if you can see that, but you can kind of see that on camera. See how this is angled up? So this edge here is higher than the inside edge, the inside towards the frame. It actually does protect the bottom of the footrest, because that's all plastic. So you have these two metal brackets that come out from the frame on the machine, and then you have this bottom of the footrest, that's all composite plastic material, and pretty much that can break easily if you hit a rock. So this is actually protecting that and serving a secondary function, as it's named, the body armor kit. So it pretty much is doing some skid plate type function in the bottom, and your rails are protecting the body from the side. So I'm really happy with that. One little thing I did do was remove the split washers from the bottom of these bolts here. I just did not like how the split washer would protrude out the bolt. I'd rather have this flange bolt making contact, full contact, with this plate, and just tightened it up really good to the torque spec. So these are the washers that I'm talking about. I took those out, and those are number 8. So let's take a step back and take a look at the machine. Looks really nice, really clean. It does add some width to each side of the machine. Not much, but it's noticeable. So we're talking about 2 inches, okay? Front and rear. You still have a nice gap so you can get in between and clean and rinse off the ATV. And I think it looks really nice. Especially if you put some larger tires on this, it will really fill that out, and I'll give it a nice good stance. In a way, these things are like mud flaps or fender flares, but obviously they're not, because they still have a gap, but you guys get the idea. It gives it a nice wider appearance. Take a shot from the back here. That's what they look like. Really sharp. They really match the racks and the bumper. They don't look out of place. So Polaris does have a military spec ATV that they make, and usually on those ATVs you'll see like body armor like this, extra protection for the body and things like that. But this is really heavy duty. I mean, you can hit something, hit brush, hit a small tree, and you're not going to be damaging the body whatsoever. It does not interfere with footing whatsoever. It is lower than the standard foot grip here, footrest. So we get up on top, and pretty much it's not cumbersome at all. It's not in the way. It doesn't seem like it's a tripping hazard whatsoever at the moment, so seems like it's going to work out just fine. The true test is going to be going through the trails and see how much tighter now the ATV is just around the house here. So you have to keep that in mind. Now the ATV is pretty much 4 inches wider than it really is, and hopefully that doesn't pose an issue. But I'll go ahead and give the body armor kit a try, and then see if I want to keep it on the machine or not. I mean, I'm pretty sure I'm going to like it, and it's going to stay there, but you know, you never know with things sometimes. You install things and then you end up not liking them and then taking them off or whatever. But yeah, all in all, I'm really happy with it. So one thing I want to mention is that there is an issue when it comes with the body armor kit and the fitment of the gun boot that comes factory on this machine. So the Hunter model comes with a gun boot that has a quick attach and detach system that's mounted with these 2 screws here over on this side of the machine. Now the problem is, if you have that mount here, you cannot mount this body armor rail, okay? So Polaris, in all their literature and advertisements, and if you looked on the pictures online on their site or whatever, when this model was out, is that they had the gun boot attached with the body armor rail kit in some of the photos. What they did was they actually just cut it off right here at the rail and left it hanging just for the pictures, okay? There's no other way to mount that with the gun boot, okay? Because you have to have this space available in order to have the gun boot there. So with that being said, there is another YouTube video out there that some guy has the same exact machine as me. He takes that gun boot and does something on this side, I guess, to rig it up and to mount it. But for some reason, with the body armor kit, you cannot have that without doing some kind of custom mount here at the bottom, or having some kind of custom bracket that comes out the bottom here and attaches to this, and you'll just have to cut that off and weld on some fasteners and some bracketry on there. I really don't plan on using the gun boot, but if I do, I'll go ahead eventually and go ahead and make a custom mount of some sort for it. But that is something worth mentioning. I know some people are going to be bummed out about that, but it just is what it is. I'm not sure why Polaris wouldn't kind of go ahead and address that with all their factory accessories, with factory components like the gun boot. It's a very common thing, especially for hunters, especially, right, if you have the Hunter Edition ATV. But anyways, that's that, and that's just something I wanted to cover as well. Well guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video, and if you have any questions or comments, please place them right down below. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, please go ahead and do so and hit that bell notification. I want to thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.